Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, and thanks for stopping by and watching. In this spray paint art video, I'll be trying out the Flame Blue spray paint to see what it's like for spray paint art. So the Flame Blue is Flame's higher price spray paint in the range. It comes in a 400ml can and has a low pressure valve system and comes with a grey blue dot soft cap. The lacquer base is acrylic, it has a matte finish, and there are around 120 colours in their range, including neon and transparent paints. And the price per can may vary depending on what country you live in. In the UK it's around £3.95 a can. And the colours I'll be using are light orange, traffic purple, deep black and pure white. Right, before I go any further, I'd just like to say these are my own thoughts and findings about how well the Flame Blue spray paint works for making spray paint art. Right then, the first thing I'm going to do is a cap test to see how the cap sprays. So I'll be using the stock cap that comes with the cans in this video, which is a grey blue dot soft cap. And I'll be doing the cap test on a 4-inch wide piece of glossy card. Right then, before you use the cans, make sure you give them a good shake for at least 2 minutes each. And when you get them, there'll be a plastic cap on them like this. This is only there to protect the cap so it doesn't spray everywhere while in transit. So when you receive your cans, they'll come like this with a plastic cap on the top. All you have to do is just take it off like that. So I'll sit that one to one side for now. And I'll be doing the cap test with the black spray paint. So just move this out of the way. So give it a good shake. I'm just going to pull some of the black paint through the cap. So this is the first time using the Flame Blue spray paint. So let's see how it sprays. So like I said, I'm going to be doing the cap test on the glossy piece of card, which is this here. So as you can see, the cap produced a thin line about 1.5 inches wide and didn't let too much paint out, which is good. So I'll just give you a closer look at this. Now the cap test is out of the way, I'm going to see what it's like to paint with. So for this space painting, I'll be using glossy card, which is A2 in size. And the materials I'll be using are some lid stencils. These are just off food tubs, the lids off them. I'll be using a metal paint scraper. I'll be using a palette knife to sign my work with at the end. I'll be using this food tub, which is a cone shape, and all I've done is put a hole in the bottom. And I'll also be using some plastic sheets to make the texture. These are just from a bag that I've cut up so they're easier to use. So then the first thing we'll do is place the planets on the sheet where you want them to go. So I'm going to have a big one there. I'm going to have one here, I think. One there. And one there. Now I'm going to get the orange. We're going to spray around the lids to give you an outline. So I'll just pull some paint through. We'll just spray around them for an outline. Doesn't have to be neat or anything. Well, let's see how this file system works. Quite like that. Nice and easy to press, cap. Press it hard, quite a bit of paint comes out. Press it light, got nice control over it. So now we've done the outlines on the lid stencils, we'll take the lids back off for now. Place them to one side. Now what we'll do is fill the outlines in with some colours. So I'll get the purple first. Bring some paint through the cap. Do a big one first. So bit of orange. Bit of purple. And then we'll get the black, spray some at the back, some white, pull some white through. Now I quite like this cap and the valve system, nice, not too much paint comes out. So we'll get the material you're using to make the texture with. Like I said, I'm going to be using the plastic sheet. This is from a bag that I've cut up. So we'll just crunch it up a bit to make some lines in it to produce some texture on your planet. And all we'll do is place it over the top and give it a light rub. And then pull it back to produce your texture. So I like the texture on that, so we'll move over to the highlights and shadows. So first of all we'll do the highlights. So with the white, we'll do the highlight here. So it's going to be like a mist over the top so you can still see the paint underneath. So see what it's like for misting. I like that. Nice. Press the cap down light and it comes out real light, which is nice. And I have a black on the back for a shadowed area. So that's a big planet done. Now we'll move on to the smaller planet. So bit of orange first, bit of purple, bit of orange, some black and some white. Paint doesn't come out too much so it doesn't pool, so the paint doesn't separate, which is good also. So I'll get another piece of plastic bag, give it a bit of a crunch, and all I'm going to do is fold this one in half, place it on the painting, and I'm just going to turn it a bit. You can always go back and do a bit more if you want. A bit more. So I quite like the texture on that. Highlight first. So like I said, just a mist. And then a shadowed area. Bit of black. Another shadow here, I think. We'll now move on to these smaller ones. So a bit of orange, bit of purple, some black and some white. So I'm just going to use my finger for this one. So like how that looks, so I'll leave that like that. So we'll get the white to make the highlight. Like I said, it's just a misting. Then the black for the shadowed area. Spitting a bit of the cap is, can you see there? So I'm just going to give it a clean off, see if that fixes. Still spitting a bit. Leave that one like that. Now we'll move on to a small one. So, bit of purple, bit of orange, bit of black, and then some white. Plastic bag or sheet that we're using, and we'll just put a light rub on it, peel it off. And we'll add the highlights and shadows to it. So just a mist of a white. Then some black for a shadow. So there are all the highlights and shadows on the planet, so it's now time to put your lid stencils back on. But ideally you want the paint to be dry before placing the lid stencils on, so the lids don't stick into the paint and leave rings on your planet where the lids were sitting. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to go ahead and place the lid stencils on while the paint is wet. I'll get the big one first. Place it on the sheet where you want your planet. Just make sure you've got a bit of a shadowed area in the highlighted area underneath your lid. And then the small one. So there are the lid stencils on, so we'll move on to the background. First of all I'm going to add a bit of colour, so I'm going to go a bit of orange first. Cap seemed to clog a bit then. Bit of orange. Bit of purple. Bit more orange in the middle. And a bit of white. And what I'm going to do is cover it in black. Got a few drops of big blobs here. I think the paint's just catching the top of the cap as it's coming out. Could be the way I'm holding the can. So we've got some black over there, so we're going to get a plastic bag again, crunch it up. We'll place it on to make some texture. Just lightly press it down. And we'll pull it back off. Just going to go around the edge, slightly pulling it. If your plastic gets too much paint on it like this, it's always best to swap it over. This way you don't carry the black over all the colours when you're pulling it off. Just go around a bit more around its top edge. So like that, so I'm going to leave a texture like that on it. So now what we'll do is get the black and we'll fill the rest of the background in. Just take your time when you're spraying around the lid stencil so you get no leaking underneath the lids. So I'll just go lightly round these. I do like this valve system, quite nice to use. Press it down and it comes out quite light. Right, now we've gone around all the lid stencils, we'll do the rest of the sheet black. Still dripping. If you can see there, the paint's building up there. Just going to clean that off. And move the cap around to the other side. See if that makes any difference. Don't know whether you can see them. The big black blobs. That seems better. Like I said, we'll just fill all the background in black. See, it's building up again here, can you see? And with these big blobs here, these big black drops of paint, the black, you'll see that come through, show through on the painting. So I'll give that another clean. So now we've got the black in on the background, we'll add some colours to it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do a bit of purple around this like galaxy. But all the cans got a bit of build up on the paint. Could be because I'm spraying them down like this. And there's the paint coming out, building up on the lip here of the can. But I still quite like using them. Quite nice to use the paint. Valve system and the caps are quite good as well. So like I said, I'm going to do some purple around the outside, just a bit of misting. Quite like this cap for misting. Yeah, like that. So I'm going to get a white. Going to try and put a small dot in the middle. Might just see what it's like on this sheet first. Might be alright. So do it in the middle somewhere, so what I could have done first is could have got a bit of the orange and done that first and put a white in the middle. So and a bit of white. So I like how that's looking, so I'm going to move over and put a bit of colour, I think, over here. So I have a bit of orange around here, I think. So just a mist, bit of colour. I'll have a bit there. It's up to you what you put in your background. I think I might put a bit around this planet. I will in a minute. I'm just gonna get a bit of black thing. Bring this colour down a bit. So all I'm going to do is like just mist a bit of black back into the painting in places. So like I said, when you're doing spray paint art, there's no rush when you're doing things. Just take your time and enjoy while you're painting. So like that, like I said, I'm going to put some colour around here, this big one I think. So I'm going to use the orange. So we're going to be spraying the paint towards the lip here. So if the overspray drops off and does the colour on the painting. So all I'm doing is pressing the cap lightly for this. Got a bit of splatter there, but that's alright. We can have a couple of orange stars or something there. So I've done a bit of colour around this one. Might just add a bit of colour to the back of this one. I'm going to use purple first. So same as this one. Just spray a bit at the back of the cap, the lip here, of the lid. And a bit of orange. Slightly press the cap down. Now I'm going to get a bit of white I think, and I'm just going to spray a tiny bit of white on it. If you do spray too much, you can always go back with a colour and just add it over white, and then just go back and add the white. Good thing with spray paint, if you do make a mistake or you're not happy with something, you can always cover it up and start again. I might just add a bit of purple the back of this orange there. Bit here. So, liking the background. Bit of orange there. Might put a bit here. So you can just keep going back, adding bits to it. If you want to add some more than that, it's up to you. Like I said, just take your time and enjoy while you're painting. So now I'm going to add the stars to the painting. So with the white, I'm going to add some small stars. So you want to spray the white onto your finger here. So get the white, spray it onto your fingers. So you have something like that. And then what you want to do is, once you've sprayed it on your fingers, flick it away from the painting a few times first. So when you do flick the white stars on, you haven't got too much paint on your fingers. So then you don't end up with big white blobs that don't look like stars on your painting. So spray a bit on your fingers, flick it a few times, and then flick the rest onto your sheet. You can add as many stars or as little as you want. It's up to you. A few up here, a few in the middle. Just add a few up this top. So there are small stars added. So just wipe these gloves. Right, so now we've added the small stars to the painting, I'm going to add a big star. I think I might just do it here. So we're going to be using a white paint and a paint scraper. And we're going to be spraying the white into the middle of a paint scraper to make your lines for the star. So I'm just going to give this cap a bit of a clean to get this build up of paint away from the nozzle. So all I do is just give it a wipe. And as you can see, it's clean again. So, like I said, I'm going to be doing a star here, big star. So with your paint scraper, you'll be spraying the white into the middle here. So put the scraper where you want your star to go. So I'm going to have mine here. So I'm just going to put it on the painting and then spray the white into the middle to produce your lines. Just keep an eye out for a build up of paint on your scraper. So, because if you get too much build up, it'll drop off, run off the bottom, and then drop onto your paint and leave a big white blob. So it's always best to keep an eye on that, and if it gets too much, wipe it off. And just take your time. No rush. So as you can see there, the paint was wet still. And I placed the scraper onto the painting to give you a better line, a nicer, thinner line, because you're closer to the painting. But that's alright, if the paint was dry, that wouldn't have happened. Let's put another line in here. And then one more here. So there are your lines for your stars. Might put another one down here. I think, yeah. So, same process. Keep an eye on this build up. I'm going to go again, so if it does run off, you can see what I'm on about. So you got quite a lot there. It's nearly at the lip now, so wipe the paint off. We'll do the other lines. So there are the lines. But if you want to go over them again, you can. So if they're not white enough, so you can just place it on, spray some more on. So I think I'll do for the stars. So now what we're going to do is put a white dot in the middle of these stars. So I've already done a white dot here in the middle of this. So let's see if we're any good for these. You want to press the cap real light for these so it doesn't let too much paint out. Might be alright. We'll give it a go on this one here. So just in the middle and just light press. Then over to this one. Light press on this one. So they both turned out pretty well. Bit of splattering out because I just pressed the cap real lightly down and the paint just splattered a bit out. It wasn't just far enough down for the paint to come out smooth like this one. I can also go back over this one with a light spray again, so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the lines on the star now. Just bigger, so with the metal paint scraper we'll get them and we'll extend them. So just take your time when you're doing this. So you can make your star bigger. Wipe the white paint off before it gets too much. So you can make the stars bigger by extending the lines. Just going to do the same as this on this one. So spray pretty close to the edge here, so I'll have to wipe that off. Just do this last slide here, so I'll just scrape it. So I'll do for the big stars. I think the paint worked well for it. I should have just done bigger lines to start off with, but like I just showed, you can always go back and add bigger ones in, longer lines. So they're the big stars out of the way. So I'm just going to use this cone-shaped food tub now. I'm just going to do some stars that are a bit bigger than the ones we did with the finger flicking. So we'll get the white. We'll do a couple with the white first. So what we're going to do is place it over a sheet where you want your star, and we'll just spray the white through this. You get like a star there. I have one here. I think I might do a couple of coloured ones. So do one up here, an orange one. So same process. I have one there, I think. Now what you can do is, you can get the white, and you can spray a bit of white in the middle using this as well. So you get a bit closer, find the middle, and then just spray a bit of white in it. And also this one. Just press your cap down lightly. Like the one here. It's up to you how many you had. Got a purple one somewhere. Like the purple one here. I'll make a bigger one. And to make a bigger one, you can just spray it through lightly. And I can always get the orange, put a bit of orange in it. And then with the white, we'll just do a small white dot in the middle. So I think it works well to make just bigger stars than the ones that you use with your fingers. So you give you a slight variety of different size stars. So that's the background finish, and now it's time to lift the lid stencils back off and reveal your planets. So I'll do this one first, this small one. They are slightly stuck because, like I said, I put the paint down when they're wet, but just take your time when lifting them. There's no rush. Now this one. And also you want to take your time because the paint in the background will still be wet. So you don't want to knock it with your lids because then it'll smudge your paint. So this one's a bit stuck, so that's it, that's off. So there are all your lid stencils off. And I like the way the planets have turned out, I like the texture on them, quite nice. As you can see here, a bit of a background on the painting, I'm not sure whether you can see it. Let me just lift it up a bit. See there where the planet stencil was. So what you can always do with this if you wanted, if it ever happens to you, you can just get the black. We can just cover it in black so it looks like the planet's there, dark side of the planet. So like I said, I quite like how these planets have turned out. I like the texture. The lids did stick in a few places, and I can show you here what I'm on about, where the lid leaves a ring on your planet if you put it on when the paint's wet. So as you can see there, on this planet you've got a bit of a ring on the shadowed area. That's where the lid was sitting and the paint was wet, so it's dug in a bit and pulled the paint back off. Got a slight bit here which isn't too much, and there. This wouldn't happen if you let the paint dry before placing the lid stencils on. So if you don't want any of these rings or anything on your planet, just leave it to dry before placing the lid stencils on. Now you get a much neater planet. You could always use the black spray paint here if it's on the shadowed area where the lips dug into the paint, and then spray it back over with the black. But then you have to build the background back up. Just depends how much is in the background, so whether you do it or not. Or another thing you could use is like a black pen, a black paint pen or something like that, and then you could just get your pen and you could fill the shadowed area in with the black. As long as it's a shadow area, it'd work. So you could get your black pen, but you're better off doing this when the paint's dry, and then you can rest your hand on the painting. So you just go around it. and then it covers up where the lid had dug into the paint. You can also go on to this one here a bit. This one's a bit lighter, so it might show a bit more on this one. See? So it depends how dark your shadowed area is as well, to whether you do it like that. So that's something you could try and use to cover it up if you did have a ring on your planet on the shadowed area side. That's the painting finished. So the last thing we're going to do is going to sign a painting. So like I said, I'll be using a palette knife for this, but you can use whatever you want to sign it with. So I'm going to sign mine here. So I think the paint's a bit too dry. Yeah, the paint's dry now. So what you can do if that happens, you can always get a paint pen or something like that. I'm going to use a white one, and you can just sign your name with the paint pen. So I think the flame blue spray paint works well for spray paint art. The grey blue dot soft cap that came with the can worked really well and didn't let too much paint out, which is good. The only thing I did find that after spraying it for a while, there was a build up of paint on the top rim of the can, and after it built up too much it would drip blobs onto the painting. This could be caused by me not being used to the caps, or the cans being horizontal instead of vertical. To stop this happening, all you have to do is wipe the build up of paint off with a cloth or something. If I was going to use a flame blue for spray paint art, then I would just use the stock cap as it worked really well. The paint also dried pretty fast, which can be good. The low pressure valve system gave a good control over how much paint came out when pressing the cap down with different pressures. It may just take a bit of practice getting used to the pressure and how far to press the cap down when doing different things. But overall I enjoy painting with the flame blue spray paint and liked how the painting has turned out. I found it nice to use and the colours I used were nice and bright. Just remember to take your time, enjoy while you're painting, and let each layer stage dry before moving on to the next. And also, sorry for the light changes in the video, the sun kept popping in and out of the clouds. So I'll just give you a closer look of the painting. So I hope you found the information in this video helpful and enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for stopping by and watching. I hope to see you all in the next spray paint art video. Have a great day, take care, and bye for now.